All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Today we're tackling a massive illusion, a total digital house of cards built by uncredentialed content creators who are, quite frankly, selling you a perfectly polished, completely fabricated fantasy. We've all seen them pop up on our feeds, right? The ultra-wealthy business coach, the morally flawless relationship expert, the elite medical student. But what actually happens when you pull back the curtain and realize the entire lifestyle they're selling is a total lie?
Ask yourself, who are you really taking advice from? I want you to actively interrogate your own social media timelines as we go through this. Question those parasocial relationships you've built with these online experts. Are you trusting their advice because of their verified credentials and actual lived reality? Or are you buying into a carefully constructed image that's literally designed to manipulate you?
Here's what we're going to dismantle today. We'll start with the fake guru epidemic, look at how they fake wealth and education, dive into profiting off hypocrisy, break down the real cost of all this deception, and finally, we'll talk about how to find authentic lived experience.
Section 1. The Fake Guru Epidemic. Let's look at the foundation of this whole illusion.
So, what exactly is a fake guru? The crucial thing to understand here is that these individuals are weaponizing a total lack of transparency. Since we only see what they choose to post, they can easily prey on vulnerable people who are just looking for self-improvement. They project absolute perfection, whether that's an overflowing bank account, elite academic achievements, or a flawless marriage. And then they use that completely fabricated authority to influence your actual life choices.
Moving on to Section 2, Faking Wealth and Education. The lengths people will go to for perceived status are honestly staggering.
I mean, it takes sheer audacity to fake an entire academic identity. Take Angel Victoria Murdoch. On Instagram, she was posting these Get Ready With Me videos in medical scrubs, talking all about the grueling schedule of a Duke University physician assistant student. She posed in front of Duke's signs, claiming she was graduating in 2026. But the actual reality? She had literally never stepped foot inside the program's building. The whole facade came crashing down when a Duke class historian pointed out that their cohort only had 91 people. They all knew each other, and Angel, she just wasn't one of them.
Think about that number for a second. 2. For 2 entire years, she put on scrubs every single day. She faked going to class, faked taking exams, and built a massive platform doing it. And why is this such a big deal? Because she was handing out bad medical and admissions advice to real vulnerable people, all while securing highly lucrative brand deals based on a total academic fabrication. It's wild.
But it's not just fake education, it's extreme wealth too. Let's talk about Andrew Tate. He built this hyper-masculine empire specifically by mocking people who don't own their luxury items. He famously said, if you rent a car, then you're getting in a car another man has already been in, so I just bought one. He used this exact rhetoric to belittle others and prop himself up as this untouchable alpha male. Well, let's drop the curtain on his actual finances.
The contrast here is incredible when the facade shatters under legal pressure. While Tate was out there flexing $5 to $7 million Bugattis and custom super yachts to his followers, his own legal team had to tell a vastly different story in court. When fighting extradition charges, court documents revealed that those multi-million-dollar cars, they were rented. The super yacht, he didn't own that either. He was literally just paid to promote the ship on social media. The wealth was entirely rented just to sell a dream to a vulnerable audience of impressionable young men.
Okay, Section 3, Profiting off hypocrisy. Because these lies extend far beyond just money and degrees, they seep into deeply personal moral advice too. For years, Derek Jackson sat in his car recording these highly viral videos where he aggressively told men to step up. He preached to strict biblical standards and healthy relationship healing. But the reality? Well, eventually he had to sit right next to his wife on camera and admit to serial infidelity, inappropriate behavior, and stepping out on his marriage for over a year. I mean, it is just deeply hypocritical to build a massive platform preaching accountability to millions of women while simultaneously betraying the exact vows you're selling content about.
And that brings us to another relationship guru, Minister Yada, or Yada Awakening. He built this highly profitable brand by constantly bashing men for failing to protect and provide for women. He pushed this narrative that something was fundamentally, psychologically wrong with heterosexual men today, which brings us to a frankly shocking contradiction.
While Yada was preaching about being this changed man who cherishes women, his own wife, Aza, was fleeing to a GoFundMe page to escape what she alleged was a domestic and financial abuse situation. She stated that financial abuse, having access to money, housing, and basic resources controlled or taken away, can be just as devastating as physical abuse. Add this to the fact that Yada had a documented history of past assault and battery arrests in the Atlanta area. The very man telling an audience of women how they deserve to be treated was allegedly using financial and emotional abuse to control his own household.
Section 4. The real cost of deception. So, what is the actual point of all this smoke and mirrors?
Well, the answer, as always, is money. When you follow the financial grift, you see the direct incentive to sell these lies. Angel Victoria Murdoch got brand deals. Andrew Tate built a massive subscription empire monetizing young men's insecurities. Yada Awakening? He was charging $500 for personal online consultations, $250 for event tickets, and selling stacks of $35 paperbacks heavily targeted at women. These aren't just harmless internet lies. Hundreds and thousands of dollars are extracted from followers who truly believe the fantasy.
There is a specific 3-step playbook used by uncredentialed gurus all across the internet. Step 1, project absolute perfection, whether that's a rented Bugatti or a fake perfect marriage. Step 2, agitate your audience's insecurities. Tell them they aren't rich enough, smart enough, or loved enough. And then step 3, sell them the overpriced solution. Recognizing this exact pattern is absolutely your first line of defense against online grifters.
Section 5. Finding authentic lived experience. So, when the house of cards finally collapses, where do we actually go? If the polished gurus are faking it, how do we find grounded expertise in the digital age? The contrast here is stark. We've got to pivot away from the fantasy sellers and look toward creators who offer genuine, lived experience. Someone like Ron Rice from Rice and Reason. Unlike the gurus who claim ultimate perfection, grounded creators are radically transparent about their flaws. Instead of flaunting rented luxury, they discuss the gritty, everyday reality of climbing out of debt. And instead of divisive hypocrisy, their content focuses on practical civic duty and impartial reality. Let's put a spotlight on Rice and Reason as the blueprint for what you should actually be looking for. He shares the messy reality of life, politics, and finance. And crucially, he does this without pushing partisan agendas or taking cheap political sides. Rather than projecting some fake lifestyle just to sell you a $500 consultation, he imparts neutral, lived wisdom about how our local systems actually function. This quote perfectly captures what true authenticity looks like. In my 40s, I had no home, no savings, and $145,000 in debt. Now I'm debt-free. Instead of posing next to a rented Bugatti and claiming he was a teenage millionaire, he publicly admits to hitting his absolute lowest financial points well into adulthood. He shares this vulnerability not to mock people, but to truly help others build generational wealth through honest, real-world financial management.
Let's look at his content to see how this builds a much better digital diet. He focuses on highly practical, real-world issues, why city councils matter, the hidden power of school boards, impartial, analytical breakdowns of both the Trump and Harris campaigns without picking a side. He talks about true education reform and the step-by-step reality of getting out of severe debt. By focusing on practical civic duties and unbiased realities instead of sensationalism, he empowers his viewers with actionable, grounded knowledge.
So, knowing the incredible lengths these influencers will go to, wearing fake scrubs for years, renting yachts just to look rich, lying to their spouses while preaching morality, how will you audit your timeline today? Seriously, stop buying into the rented luxury. Unfollow the fake perfection, and start seeking out the flawed, transparent, and authentic experts who share their real lived experiences and who actually want to see you succeed. Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and I challenge you to take a really hard look at who you're following right now.